Domestic violence is a widespread problem in the United States. But many persons don't realize that domestic violence is an equal opportunity problem. Women and men are equally likely to be abusers. Unfortunately, the stories of male victims of partner abuse are seldom told.
Both to women and men, okay? Because both, I believe, can be victims and or abusers of domestic violence.
I started a lot of things. I was a law enforcement officer, get ready to make sergeant. And I said, Lord, give me the strength. Because she hit me one more time. I don't give a damn. I'm going to put her through this wall because I had enough. But by the time I tried to go get my car, it was a sergeant who just got promoted to 6D. He was like, nah, man, we're going to lock you up. I'm like, lock me up for what? What'd I do? Here's my badge. Here's my ID. I'm an officer just like you. He said, no, you're not. And I'm like, what do you mean, no, I'm not? I'm still an officer. No, you're not. He took my weapon. He took my badge. He took my ID. And he locked me up. 22 years I was on the force. And I lost everything.
You know, growing up in D.C., I witnessed my mother being abused physically and mentally. And the worst thing for me was being in the next room and not being able to do nothing for my mother. Hearing her head being banged up against the wall, things like that, you know. So, you know, I was angry because my father was doing life for murder. So he wasn't there to save me. He wasn't there to save my brother. And I grew up angry. She ain't cared nothing about all she cared about was winning the case. You know, so whatever I was or however I was for the past few years, ain't matter. It didn't matter at all. All she knew, I was guilty.
All I am is a guy who was abused. I was an abuser for 30 years, hard work. There's days, weeks, months, I would just be curled up in a ball crying. It is all worth it to finally wake up one day and go, you know what? I like the person I am now. And people are going to see that. Your wife, number one, is going to see that. And your life is going to be transformed radically.
Let me guess. You think I was crying because of the pain that I caused? You think, inside, she must be dying from being broken and lost. Yes, this is her reclining from solid to soft. But to keep it real, I was crying because that gun didn't go off. See, I was tapping on his head for him to open his eyes. So once he reached his low from his high, I had a chilling surprise death. Yes, I wanted him dead, so I put that lead to his head. And ooh, he was lucky I was busting blanks instead. How did I get to this point? Around 14 and 15, I had aggressive tendencies. It was to kill or be killed to me, and it was something that lived with me. And this was the family rule. It was done. 4 to 5 charges, reckless endangerment. At that moment, my transitioning moment hit. Because see, I tried to kill my son's father, and I felt no remorse. I played the victim. It's his fault my life was off course. Now I almost killed my son. Who do I have left to blame? And from that moment moving forward, I knew something had to change, and that was education. I was able to put terminology to my issues and connect the dots, was able to work through my issues, but that's not where it stops. Discover that there's hundreds, thousands, millions just like me, suffocate from domestic violence and need to breathe. Black face, black story, white education. I had a voice to tap into my community and let them know they have a choice. It's not you. It's not your fault. Domestic violence is learned behavior. It's the day that I dedicated my life to fighting the war against all domestic violences. Thank you.
It's about becoming more aware of what my trauma is, my anger issues, not letting that anger turn into bitterness, that bitterness turn into rage, which can lead to murder. So it's about just self-awareness and knowing where I am and knowing what my trauma is and getting healing.
And I don't have nothing anymore. I don't have fame. I don't have money. After the Super Bowls is probably the worst time I ever had. It's when I was the loneliest, when I was the most depressed. It's usually when the domestic violence was fueled. I was abusive in so many different ways. I tore up things, and I took a golf club to her vehicle and just beat the crap out of it, just to see the pain in her eyes and saw how emotionally she was just so damaged and so torn. I feel like I don't even deserve to have a good life now.
Why?
Because of all the pain that I caused, all the damage.
What do you feel?
Really ashamed.
Michael Lindsay, a psychotherapist who specialized in working with violent offenders, was Johnson's counselor before he retired. Johnson granted permission for Lindsay to talk with us about their sessions.
You just couldn't afford to lose anymore. And at the moment, you can't afford to lose anything more. Chaos, death, or change. Those are your choices.
If you just go in with an open mind and allow everything that's inside of you as a child to come out, you'll find where the problem was. And that's when you can start healing. He tried to screw his whole life up. He hurt a lot of people. And he's here now to say, look what I did to my life. Don't do that to yours.
Boys will be boys.
Well, she was drunk.
Well, he was drunk.
She was asking for it. He warned her.
Not my problem.
Why doesn't she just leave? He's such a nice guy.
He said he was sorry.
We don't talk about